Okay, here we go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the sunny side. I hope everyone's having a super amazing day. I'm answering this question live right now on our live stream. Dude, it's a good answer, Sunny. Okay. Anyways, last night we had a question during our tarot readings, but it's for astrology, right? And it was Jan L asked how to find out if her sun or moon is rising. I think that's what it is. And so here we go. So first, let's go. I'm going to pull up the chart and I'll show you guys what the action is, and we'll answer it right now. So check this out. Ooh. Okay, so all right, so check it out. First, excuse me. Now here are the planets on the inside of the chart. This is the chart for now. Or it was the chart for a couple of hours ago anyways. And these are all of the planets. Now the planets are just in the sky, right? No big deal, they're up there, you know. Some are, let's make this a little easier. Let's chug it like this for a different time of day. Let's do it like this. This should be a little easier to understand like this. We'll put Virgo rising. This line right here, this invisible line that goes across that we can't really see, this is the horizon. The horizon is that place off in the distance where the land, or the water, wherever you're looking at, meets the sky. All right? That's what the horizon is. And that's the horizon right there. So if you look to the east, you will see this side. Okay, this is the sun coming up, and we'll make it even easier. Here, we'll go back a little bit. Oh my god, I should do this hours, 10 minutes. Okay. Hours, okay. We'll do it like this. Okay, watch this. 6:02 a.m. All right, everybody cool? 6:02 a.m. This is the east. This is the west. This line going right across, and in this example it's red right there. That's the horizon. This is, if you look to the east, you will see, it's what you see where the land meets the sky, what's rising up to the sky at the time. It's why it's called your rising. What's rising? It's also what's called the ascendant. What's ascending. To ascend means to rise, right? So it's your rising sign is also your ascending sign, and you know, your ascendant, right? It's your ascendant is right here. And once again, it's the horizon in the east. This is above the horizon. This is below the horizon. And in astrology, it means different things. And we'll save that, you know, we'll do that in another lesson. Right here is your descendant. This is the west. So if you look out to the west, this is the sign that's descending below the horizon. So you rise above the horizon, you ascend above the horizon, and here you descend below the horizon. Everybody cool? So this is what's going out of view. This is what's coming into view. Now if we move this ahead nice and chill, see, the sun is below the horizon, so it's still nighttime. At 6:02, it's still dark because you're standing here. You're kind of standing in the center. And then as this clicks ahead, oh, look, the sun pops up on the horizon. Hey, Mr. Sun, what's the sava? Everything cool with me, Sonny? You know, it's going to be a beautiful day to be beautiful. What's your action, Sonny? All love all the time, player. You got time for me? Hey, of course I do. I'm the sun. I got time for it. So, Sonny, what the hell kind of conversation you have? All right. Okay, so that's what's going on. So that's what's going on. So right there, the sun just rose above the horizon. And that's sunrise, 6:42 in the morning. All right, right around here again. So once again, let's put this as minutes. Oh, it's getting bright. We can see it's getting bright. Now we're chugging on. Ah, the sun. Ah, let's go to the beach. Surf's up, playa. I hear that action. All right, so that's what's going on. The sun just rose, and it's called sunrise. Everybody cool with that? All right. So that's sunrise. This is the east. So in this situation, but having said that, right? Having said that, the planets aren't okay. So that's what that means. And as the day progresses, oh look, you can't see Venus in the sky because Venus is below the horizon, right? The Earth is round-ish. And then, oh, look at that. At 7:45 a.m., Venus pops up. Oh, so if you're looking at the east, you know, you're like, hey, look at that. You know, oh, look at that. What's that little planet? Oh, that's a cute little thing. I feel good. Venus is there. And that's Venus. Venus is now above the horizon. So once again, this is the horizon. It's a visual thing. Now, check it out. If we look to the west, let's go back a little bit. At 6:55 a.m., the sun just popped up. If you look to the east, you can see the sun. But if you look to the west, you can still see the moon. Seriously, you can see them both. I could look. So if you look to the east, the sun's rising. Oh, geez, man, it's going to be a nice day. And if you look to the west, it's like, hey, shouldn't you go to bed? Like, don't you got stuff to do? You should take it. You worked hard last night. And that's the moon. And the moon is up here. So in this situation, you can see the sun in the east and the moon in the west. And then as the day progresses, oh, I'm going to sneeze. As the day progresses, you know, the sun starts to rise, morning is coming up, sun is getting brighter and brighter, and the moon is going down, and looking in the west, you're going, wow, this is one of those mornings where the sun is way over there, and the moon is way over there. Wow, what a day. Look at this, I can still see the sun. I can still see the moon. You know, those mornings. Okay, so that's what's going on. That's happening right now. And then, the moon's going to go, if you look to the west, the moon's going to start to descend. It's going to get closer and closer to the horizon. And then right now, at 8:25 or at 8:20, the moon's going to fall below the horizon and you're not going to see it anymore. It's gone. And that's, that's cute. So that's what's going on. The moon is descending. The sun rose, sunrise, and the moon descended. Then the day chugs along. Everybody's cool, everybody's cool, everybody be cool. And then the planets are going around in their little orbit like that, and the Earth's spinning, and everybody's happy. And then we're cruising along and cruising along. And then we get to right here. It's, you know, then we get to what's called the midheaven. Midheaven. Mid is the halfway point between here, you know, the rising and the descending. Sunrise and sunfall. The middle point of sunrise or sunfall, we tend to call like high noon figuratively, but really it's where the sun is at the highest point in the sky. And that in astrology is called your midheaven. And that's this line right here. Although on this chart you don't really see it because I kind of deleted it so that it's easier to read for other stuff. Okay, well, I mean, like, okay. But so that's, you know, that's where the sun is at the highest. This is the midpoint of the day. It's the time of day where if you put a stick in the ground, it would cast no shadow because the sun is directly overhead. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's what's going on with the sun. So let's back it up. Let's just go through this all, you know, let's just go through it again as a reminder for what's going on. So, sun is rising. The sun is rising above the horizon. Sun is rising. Then the moon is descending. Right? And then we're cruising along. Then all these other planets are in the west. Right? Everything is cool. And then they're going to fall below the horizon. And then you're not going to see them anymore in the sky. But then the sun is getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And then finally, right there, it's at the highest point in the sky, and in astrology, that's called your midheaven. We'll talk about what it represents another time. Okay, now we cruise along. We're still talking about the planets here, guys. And then cruising along, and you're like, what a day. Everything was cool. I better tune into SunnySide and see some horoscopes. Oh, check that out. No, I mean, I got to tune into the SunnySide and get my tarot cards read and see what's going on. And like, oh, Sunny's late again. Oh, like, let's go watch some sunsets. And so you're cruising along, and right here on your descendant, this is when you look to the west, the sun is going to set. Right? You guys see this? So the sun is going to go down, 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 and then right around this time, 7:15 at night, the sun is going to set. It's now below the horizon. It's still casting a little bit of light, but the sun's below the horizon, and then the only thing you can see is Uranus and Venus. See that? So the sun is set, and now it's nighttime because the sun is below the horizon. It's now nighttime. And shortly, and then after it gets nice and dark, then the moon is going to rise in the east. Oh, look at that. It's pitch black. It's nighttime and the moon has just risen in the east. Everybody cool with that? Does that make sense? Christina has a question. I haven't got to your rising. So by the way, I haven't got to your rising sign yet. I'm just talking about how the chart works and how to understand the language and what the planets are doing. Christina says, Sunny, once you know your rising sign and your descending sign, is it always the same or does it change day to day? No, your rising stays the same. It's an image in time of when you were born. All right, now let's go back to the action. Now let's answer that question. Let's say you were born at you're at, say you were born at right here. When they say, what's your rising sign? They mean, what's your rising sign? Right? Not what's your rising planet, because you don't really have a rising planet. You know, when we talk about planets, we talk about this stuff right here, right? Sun is in Aries. It's exalted. You know, the moon is in, where's the moon? The moon's in Scorpio. It's in its fall. You know, the Venus is in its ruler in Taurus. This is all different stuff. This is dignities. And we might be getting confused with dignities, but I don't think you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to just say that we don't do planets rising, we do signs rising. Because let's just say, for example, this is a Mercury rising and a Virgo rising, but I'll explain it in a You don't walk around saying, hey, I'm a sun rising. I'm like, what? Like, doesn't everybody's sun rise? Yeah, everybody's sun does rise. And no, Sesame, your chart does not say you're a Oh, wait a second. It does. Hold on. I'll explain using Sesame. Sesame has a good question here. So if you're born, so when they say your rising sign, this stuff, these colors on the outside, that's your sign. That's your astrological sign. Cancer, you know, Cancer is a sign. Leo is a sign. You know, Gemini is a sign. So your rising sign is the sign that's rising at the moment you're born. So if you're born at 11:25 a.m. on April 3rd, the sign that's on the ascendant, the sign that's ascending, the sign that's rising, that's your rising sign. Does that make sense? If you were born, and this is, the rising is set on the time of day. If you were born on April 3rd at 4:35 in the afternoon, Virgo is the sign that's on the ascendant. Virgo is, you'd be a Virgo rising. That's it. You'd still be Aries sun, because everybody is still, you know, everybody born today is in Aries. You don't stop being in Aries just because you're born at a different time of day. And that's what's going on. All right. right, so that's what's going on. Your rising sign is, well, there are a couple of, okay, so that's how you figure out what your rising sign is. You need the time of day, and it's the sign that's rising on the horizon when you're born. Right? Just as planets rise, sun sets, the moon will rise, the moon will set, the constellation will rise, and the constellation will set, you know, or the sun will rise and the sun will set. That's all it means. And yeah, Angelica was born at 4:08 in Salt Lake City, Utah. So depending on what your rising sign is, it sets the color, so to speak, of the houses, you know, and it changes different parts of your personality, and it affects different things. So in this particular situation, if you're born with a Libra on your rising sign, it means it means a lot more than this, okay? But basically, it means Libra is going to color this house right here. This house in astrology, in this person's chart, is now under the major influence of Libra. It has a secondary influence of Scorpio, but it's predominantly going to take Libra. It's also now the sign that's going to rule. Did I say rule? It's the sign that's going to rule that house. If you were looking in Vedic astrology, it'll say what rules that house. It also means it's going to tell you what planet rules that house. This first house is ruled by Venus. Even though Scorpio is here, this house is ruled by Venus. And so if you want to know what's going on in the first house, then there's nothing there, then you look to the ruler of the first house, and the ruler of the first house is over here in the 7th house, or it's in Taurus. And so this person, okay, and so that's what it means. And so it means this person in the first house will take on a lot of Libra qualities. They're going to look like a Libra. They're going to act like a Libra. But let's do it another way. Let's go to a really easy one. Let's say Gemini is rising. So people who are born with Gemini on the ascendant, so let's say someone is born at 9 o'clock in the morning on April 3rd. They're in Aries, so they are competitive. You are in Aries, that's the way it is. But you're Gemini rising. So you definitely, all the Aries stuff, whether you show it or not, right? The first house is what you show. The sun is who you are. So this type of person is going to be a chatty Aries. Does that make sense? Chatty Aries. If you're born, you know, with Taurus on the ascendant, you're going to be a stubborn and sensual Aries. You know, you're going to be an Aries with a lot of endurance, which is interesting because, you know, if you're an Aries, if you were born with Pisces on the rising, you'd be like an artsy-fartsy kind of flaky Aries, which is not so weird. You know, if you were born with, you know, Aquarius there, you'd be into humanitarian things. You'd be observational. You'd like to figure things out. You'd be like a scientist, or Aquarius energy is like scientists thinking out of the box. Inventors. You'd be an Aries who likes to invent things and see things differently. You know, they like the big picture. You like to be free and alive. If you were a Capricorn on the ascendant and you're an Aries, you'd be an Aries who likes to you know, who's a little more quiet than other people. You're an Aries who holds back and believes in the big picture and everything. Not big picture, but you'd be a very calculating kind of Aries, taking the steps and moving on and on. If you were a Sagittarius, here, you'd be wanting to be free and alive and have fun and get out there. You know, all these different types of Aries. You know, if you're an Aries with Scorpio rising, you'd be a really sexual and mysterious Aries. You'd still be competitive, but you'd be like dark and behind the scenes kind of Aries. And you'd challenge people. You'd be into the occult, stuff that's hidden. If you're an Aries with a Libra rising, you'd be like a really pretty Aries. You'd be like shopping. You'd be a very well-balanced Aries. You know, you'd want everybody to be happy. Aries with the Aries rising doesn't care about making other people happy. Aries with Libra rising wants everybody to be happy. Aries Virgo rising, you complain a lot. Aries Virgo rising is going to look at the details, and that Aries with Leo rising is going to be an Aries who wants to be the center of attention. Aries with, there's more to Leo than that, right? I'm just giving you like a stereotype. Aries with Cancer rising is going to want to take care of others, and finally Aries Gemini rising is going to be a chatty Aries. And that's the deal. So that's the difference, what it means, what a rising sign means. You know, that's what it means for your planets to be rising. That's how, you know, rising, the definition of rising and ascendant, and, you know, rising and ascendant, and that's how the planets work. That's, you know, what's the, you know, so that's how it works. You know, that's high noon, that's sunrise, sunset, high noon, and that's your rising sign. So you can't really have a planet rising. So when someone says, how do I find out if my sun or moon is rising? It doesn't really work like that. You know, you're not, in astrological language, you're not a sun or a moon rising. You're one of the signs that's rising, and that's how it works in the signs. It's the sign that's on the horizon when you were born, and that's how it works. And that's the action. That's the action. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that definition. If you have any questions, just message me, or by all means tune into one of the live streams and hang out and say hi. And that question was from Jan L, and I think it was a super amazing question. And that's the action. Shall I wrap? Okay, I'm doing this live for everyone. So from the SunnySide, I'm wishing everyone the absolute best of a beautiful day. And I'll see you guys soon. Thanks again, Jen. That was a wonderful question.